Welcome back. Today, we're going to finish the book, Geronimo Stilton, Journey Through Time. We have just a couple chapters left, and I didn't even read the end, so I don't even know how it finishes. So we'll find out together. Let's begin. Geronimo Stilton, The Journey Through Time, the last few chapters. At noon, the herald made another announcement. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Grand Rat of Ratonia will challenge Measley Marvin of Mousehampton to a duel. The two knights came riding into the arena on their steeds. They stopped and waited as their horses pawed nervously at the ground. The starting signal sounded, and the king and the knights grabbed their long lances and galloped toward each other. The two knights clashed with a metallic sound, clank. High in the stands, I saw Crouton watching the tournament. I sat down next to him. "Oh, Sir Geronimo," he gushed, "there are so many knights, and they're so brave." Crouton and I spent the entire afternoon watching the tournament. Then dusk fell. "Tonight is a special night," I explained to Crouton. "It's the night of the shooting stars. You can wish upon a star. Tell me, little one, is there something you dream of?" He blushed and shook his head. "There's nothing?" I asked. "You can tell me." "I do have one great dream," he whispered, "but it's impossible." "Oh, no dream is impossible," I told him. "Tell me your dream and I promise I'll try to make it come true." He whispered, "I want to take part in the tournament." "Well, as far as I know, the first things you need to have are a horse and a sword," I said. Crouton lowered his head sadly. "I could never afford a horse," he said. I opened my satchel. I took out the gold coin Professor Von Volt had given me. "With this coin, you can get yourself the best horse in Britannia," I said as I handed it to Crouton. "Really?" Crouton asked me in surprise. "Thank you, Sir Geronimo." I reached into my satchel again. "And then, dear Crouton, you can use this silver coin to buy a sword." "Thank you, Sir Geronimo, but I already found a sword," he said. "It's wedged in a rock." "Stuck in a rock?" I asked, disbelieving. He clasped my paw and led me to the town square. "Here's the sword," Crouton squeaked. I saw a shiny blade wedged in a rock. Little Crouton grabbed it with both paws and lifted it high above his head proudly. "Hey, you!" someone grunted. "Where did you get that sword?" It was Flea Flicker Jr. He grabbed Crouton's sword. It's Excalibur!" he shouted excitingly. "Hey, everyone, come look. Get ready to meet and crown a new king of Britannia." I took a step forward. "Sir Flea Flicker Jr., the sword actually belongs to little Crouton," I said. "He's the mouse who drew it from the stone." Flea Flicker Jr. grunted contemptuously. "Impossible," he scoffed. "I wouldn't believe it even if I saw it. And anyway, I have the sword now, and I'm keeping it. Paws off." Sir Flea Flicker pushed through the crowd. "My son," he exclaimed, "you finally did something right. Great news! The tournament's over. My son has the sword from the stone and will be King of Britannia." Trap, Thea, Benjamin, Professor Von Volt, and I stood by Crouton. "The sword belongs to Crouton," the professor said firmly. All the knights crowded around the sword. "Is it true?" they murmured. "Is it really Excalibur?" "Someone took it out of the stone." Yes, it was a tiny servant. No, it was Flea Flicker Jr. At least that's what he says. I can't see him as king. But no one saw him pull the sword out of the stone. I think this is just a prank. Suddenly, the great Merlin appeared. He made a sign asking for silence. Knights of Britannia, do you want a king? He asked. If you do, the sword will choose him. The crowd gathered in the square. At the center of the square was a massive dark granite stone. Merlin read the words carved in the stone. The mouse who extracts the sword shall become the rightful king of Britannia. Give me Excalibur, Merlin ordered Flea Flicker Jr. The mouse handed over the sword reluctantly. Merlin put it back in the stone. Flea Flicker Jr. stepped up to the sword. Move, he ordered those in his way. In just a moment, I'll be king. He grabbed the hilt of the sword and pulled with all his might. He pulled and pulled and pulled, but nothing happened. Pull, 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 his father squeaked. Come on, son, pull. Flea Flicker Jr. dried the sweat-soaked whiskers. I can't, Daddy, he sobbed. I really can't. Step aside, Sir Flea Flicker said. I'll show you how it's done. Panting, he pulled and pulled and pulled, but the sword didn't budge an inch. I want to try, one of the knights shouted. Another one after the other. All the knights tried to extract the sword. Sylvester Strongmouse of Stalwart, the strongest knight in Britannia, tried to extract the sword, but it didn't budge an inch. Egbert, what a strange name. Egbert Moose of Stoutville. That was hard to say. The roundest knight tried next, but in spite of his weight, the sword didn't budge an inch. Wilson Wisemouths of Wisdomshire, the oldest of the knights, also tried, but in spite of his wisdom, the sword didn't budge an inch. Finally, Richard Reekout of Stinkovia tried as well. Because of his odor, they left him for last. And you guessed it, the sword didn't budge an inch. When everyone had stepped aside, disappointed, he heard a little voice. Can I try too? Crouton asked. Sir Flea Flicker and his son laughed. Ha 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 ha! Look here, Sir Flea Flicker scoffed. It's Crouton the servant. I took a step forward. Let him try, I said firmly. Sure, let him try, Flea Flicker sneered. I could use a good laugh. I walked with Crouton to the center of the square. He took a few timid steps toward the stone where the sword was wedged. When he got to the stone, he hesitated and turned toward me. Go on, little one, I encouraged him. It's your turn. You can do it. He grasped the hilt of the sword and he pulled the sword out of the stone effortlessly. Oh, the crowd gasped. A ray of moonlight pierced the clouds. The sword sang sweetly. I am the sword in the stone, and you are the heir to the throne. The king of Britannia you'll be. This is my solemn decree. It's a trick, Flea Flicker Jr. shouted. He's just a servant, so it doesn't count. It's a trick. Yes, yeah, said the crowd. It must be one of Merlin's tricks. The magician's paw must be in it. Crouton placed the sword back in the stone. Then he took it out again and raised it over his head so that everyone could see. This time, there was no doubt. Merlin made a solemn gesture and raised his arms to the sky. Hear ye, Merlin shouted. Years have passed since our King Uther Pendragon left us forever.
But today we are gathered here to crown his legitimate heir, the son, Arthur. Long live Britannia's new king. Long live King Arthur.
The crowd knelt down on the ground. Long live the new king of Britannia! They all shouted, Long live King Arthur! The sword blazed and the crowd chanted, Arthur! Arthur! Long live King Arthur! The little mousekelet and the blonde with the blonde braids gazed at Crouton, that is, Arthur, with adoring eyes. Arthur blushed shyly. Milady, he greeted her. She gave him her arm, and the two walked toward the castle, gazing into each other's eyes.
Ah, Maiden Guinevere and little Arthur, look so cute together,
I heard some gossipers whisper. Merlin smiled with satisfaction.
There was the treasure hidden in the castle, a great king, King Arthur.
Suddenly, Professor Von Volt ran up to me, panting and out of breath.
Geronimo, we have to get out of here, he asked. I've been looking for you. We have to leave immediately. The Mouse Mover 3000's batteries are almost out of power. If we don't leave soon, we may have to stay here forever.
Will little Crouton be okay? I asked Merlin, and concerned for his young friend.
Yes, dear friend, he replied. I will make it my responsibility to advise him and to make him a great king. I do think the castle will need a new name, though Flea Flicker Castle is a horrible name. I'll advise him to call it Camelot. I think Camelot will soon have a new queen, Guinevere, that sweet little mousekelet.
Professor Von Volt smiled.
Arthur, Guinevere, Camelot, good, he said. Now, everything makes sense.
Merlin raised his paw to bid us farewell.
I won't forget you, travelers from afar, he said.
We climbed aboard the Mouse Mover 3000.
Ready?
Professor Von Volt said. Go! The time machine jolted. Soon we were back in New Mouse City. It felt good to be home. We found ourselves back in Professor Von Volt's laboratory. The door opened, and my friends and I climbed out of the time machine. Home sweet home. I couldn't wait to get home and take a warm cheddar-scented bath.
Oh, wait, Trap yelled. I left my bag on the ship. Geronimo, can you get it for me? I'm late for an appointment.
An appointment? I grumbled as I climbed back inside the Mouse Mover 3000, whose batteries were charging. When did you have time to make an appointment? While the rest of us were busy traveling through time. It's better not to be one of your tricks, Trap.
Oh, me? Do tricks?
Trap asked.
Be real, Geronimo. I'm the most serious mouse in all time. You're so suspicious. It's not good for your health, you know. Anyway, gotta go. See you later, alligator.
With that, he dashed out the door. As he was running out, he tripped on something on the floor. It was the remote control to the Mouse Mover 3000. Suddenly, the Mouse Mover 3000 began to hum, and the door closed with a bang. This time, I knew what was happening, so I quickly buckled my seat belt and inserted the earplugs. The time machine filled with blue fog and began rotating faster and faster. Where was I going? I didn't know, but I wasn't worried. In fact, I was excited about traveling through time again. Who knew what adventure I might find? Maybe I would end up in ancient Greece, where I would be able to chat with great philosophers like Plato and Aristotle. Or maybe I would find myself in ancient Rome, where I could take part in a chariot race in the Colosseum. Or perhaps I would travel to the year 1492 to see Christopher Columbus set foot in America. Where would the Mouse Mover 3000 take me? Where? I held on tight and bang! The time machine came to a sudden stop. I had a feeling I was about to have another whisker-licking good adventure. I give you my word that whatever happens on my journey, I'll be sure to write about it someday. Until then, farewell, dear mouse friends. Farewell. The end.